But yeah, it actually had pistol in quotes.
Yeah.
On the back of it, and I love that nickname. You know,
one of the best ever. Best ever. You probably couldn't get away with that now.
No, yeah.
Right, with that name, but definitely one of my like handle goats. Probably, huh?
It's a job, man. Would want that in the kids.
No comment.
No comment.
No comment.
Oh Kiddan! Yo, what up, people? Hello, namaste, kam cho, assalamu alaikum, and sat sri akal. What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Oh Kiddan podcast. I am your host, Tej, and we have Tej's Pops back with us.
Tej's Pops. That's all I'm known as. I have no other name except Tej's Pops.
Yeah.
Right. So when I get my jersey, whenever that is, whenever you want to give me a jersey, please put Tej's Pops on the back. Nothing else.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. But we have a special day for us. A special day for the Oh Kiddan podcast, because the Oh Kiddan podcast has two firsts today. You know what those are?
Two firsts
today. This is the first ever episode with our first ever esteemed guest. You may be looking at some of this stuff on the table here. And we'll get to him, we'll introduce him, but we also have another first. We have our first audience member. So but today we got a man who, so you know when they say the fit, that's what you kids say, right? The fit,
what?
right? Like the what you're wearing. It's the fit,
yeah.
right? So when you say the fit, like whatever you're wearing, it is completed by one specific item, which completes the fit.
What?
You know what that is? Shoes. The shoes complete the fit. And the man that's responsible for putting the fit together, for helping you complete your fit, but not with just any average off the wall, off the retail, whatever type of shoe that you can order on whatever. Nah, this is a 101, right? Maybe a 201 if you're lucky enough. But custom shoes, man, custom kicks to complete your custom fit. And you know what? So back in the day, you may not know this. At the end of a letter, even they do it now maybe, the end of the letter, they always write PS, right? And then a final note. That means that whatever you read in this letter, PS, don't forget this last statement I want you to walk away with. Right?
Okay.
And you may be sitting here asking me, who are you asking about, right? I'm talking about the one, the only, PS and who. My man, my brother, Puneet. Let's bring it in, man. My man.
Thank you so much.
We got to do
so much for the introduction. Oh wow.
Sir.
Hey, look
Yes,
at that.
sir.
That's
the little father-son handshake.
Like it.
Man, Puneet, we want to thank you for
Listen, I'm honored to be able to be a part of what you guys have going on. You know, this is something which I can't even fathom. I'm actually here, part of this even.
Man, listen, we can't fathom you're here gracing us with your presence. And we are truly thankful. And just to kick it off, we had to put a Punjabi Desi touch to it. And if you don't know what that is, this, my friends, is mango lassi. And as the Gores call it, or the Americans, the Western world, they call it lassi. Mango lassi. This is mango lassi.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So cheers to everybody. Right. Non-alcoholic, obviously.
Of course.
So mango lassi, but this mango lassi you won't get at your regular store. You ain't gonna get this one. This has a special ingredient in it, and I can't release that. That's top secret. That's G classified.
Yep.
All right. So, sir, once again, thank you.
Welcome.
I have so many questions.
Listen, I'm here.
Same here.
Ask me whatever you'd like. I'm an open book.
And
hopefully I can tell you guys, what I do, where this started, how this started, and
And that's exactly where we want to start. But before we start, I have one very important question for you.
Okay.
Did you guys see the Allen Iverson statue today?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Did you see that I don't know if this is the right word to use there, that I don't know, monstrosity or that disrespect? That
Disrespect I definitely give. Monstrosity, I mean, it definitely should have been better than it came out
asinine,
to.
ludicrous, preposterous. One of those us's.
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know. Budgeting.
All that
That's all I
money they
can think
throw.
of, man.
All that money Ben Simmons stole from them. This is
Yep,
budgeting.
that's-
Must have been his fault again. We may blame
I
Ben Simmons,
blame,
right?
blame Ben Simmons.
Wow. Man, I feel bad, man. I feel bad for Allen Iverson.
I
Yep.
do too.
And respect to him for, keeping a straight face,
Yeah.
keeping it professional. But come
That
on,
should have
man.
been at least life size.
That man, after all he's done for that city, for that league, for the league, for the culture, for that team, all those seats he filled, all those jersey sales,
Yep.
they give him a mini me. Come on, man.
Oh man.
Allen Iverson, we hope the Sixers will correct this.
Yeah, I
This
think
for
so.
you.
I hope so.
And
I hope so.
And I heard, I could be wrong, I heard it was in front of the practice facility and not
Was
the
it?
actual stadium.
No.
Which is kind of
I don't know.
ironic,
Which
right?
is-
We're talking,
I don't know.
That would be messed up, man.
we're talking about practice.
Yeah, that would be. Oh man, that's the lemon on the wound. Was it called?
Salt on your
the
wounds,
salt
right?
on the
Rubbing
wound
salt
right
on your
there.
wound. That's so. Hopefully they correct this. That man deserves an actual life size statue, or maybe we've just been spoiled by seeing Staples statues,
Yeah,
or Crypto Center statues.
right.
That could be the
I
reason.
still
But
can't get used to saying crypto center either.
right.
Even that sounds so wrong, man.
So I'm taking it. We all are in concurrence, in agreement that statue was unjust.
Yes.
All right, cool. So, sir,
Yes.
first, sir. So, do you want to start off with the question? You have your first
Yeah.
question for?
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So my first question is, what got you into this line of work?
Got me into this line of work. Well, so growing up, being an avid fan of Jordan, I always loved sneakers.
Mm.
Like you're close to my age. Like growing up, even I feel now, like you guys said, the fit matters.
Mm-hmm.
High school was all about wearing Jordans. I think as an even collector, I started collecting when I was in middle school. I think my first pair of Jordans was in middle school.
Mm.
So it really became from a collector into a hobby of just customizing and painting shoes. And then from painting shoes, I just tried to make one. I had a good friend of mine who actually challenged me to make it. And I made my first shoe and I fell in love with making them. So from there, now, you could see most of the shoes that I've made, a lot of the shoes I've made. And it's grown into me teaching people how to make it. So now I can actually, I've taught classes one-on-one at FIT in bigger groups. So it's really just hobby turned business.
So, student turned professor.
Yep.
PhD too, right? Wow.
I like what you guys have going on here. I mean, this is
Oh no, we're students.
Oh
no.
yeah, we're students.
still rookies and
But the
amateurs.
point is, you guys definitely. I feel like this was a hobby for you guys. You were interested in it, and
Yeah,
now I think you guys are doing great.
we're trying.
You're gonna
We're
get
trying.
even better.
And listen, man, if we have your presence here, we're doing something right.
Yeah.
We're doing something right. So
am I. Being here, like I said, I'm.
Oh, you've been doing
fortunate
right.
I'm fortunate being here, man.
listen, man, if y'all get a chance at PS _ and AND_ who, right? WHO. You go on that IG, there's a whole plethora of the dopest kicks, custom handmade and testimonials and other notable figures who have given this man his due respect. And that's why I have a lot of questions on some of like the development process.
Mhm.
But you have another one? Anything else you want to ask?
Yeah, I have another
Go
question.
ahead.
What is your favorite design and your most challenging design?
So, right now I specialize. I'm a big perfectionist. Like if it's not perfect, I've known to start shoes over, even when it's almost at the finished product, just because of a stitching mistake. Me personally, even for my collection, I love Jordan 1s. So majority of the shoes which I make are Jordan 1s. The shoe actually which got me interested in making shoes wasn't the Jordan 1 though. It's actually the Jordan 3.
Okay.
And it's been a bit of a headache to get that perfected. I've attempted it 3 times now. I haven't gotten it down fully yet. Probably by the end of this year, I'll have it down. So my favorite silhouette is definitely the Jordan 1, specifically the 1985 cut of the Jordan 1, the shape. And I think the most complicated shoe which I've attempted would probably be the Jordan 3 or 4. Probably the 4s even.
Okay.
So how long have you been at this?
It's been about 5 years.
5
years I've been making shoes.
Okay.
Maybe 6.
6 years you've been actually making
shoes. I've been customizing shoes probably since 2002, 2001 when I was in high school.
Okay.
Like I said, it was a hobby turned business. You know?
Right.
It was pretty much a side gig. I would just, take on friends of mine, paint their shoes. It actually started from airbrushing t-shirts. So I went from airbrushing t-shirts into customizing and hand painting shoes. I had taken a break for a while, went to med school, came back and picked it back up.
Oh, wow.
Total career change, but it is what it is.
What was that moment though, where you said, this is what I want to do?
I think honestly,
because everybody comes through that like those crossroads, right? Like
I think it was more so making it into full time was probably COVID time.
Okay.
At the time, I had just graduated from going back to undergrad. I finished my bachelor's in science biology, and I was thinking about going to PA school. And then COVID hit, and I'm like, now I have some time. Let me try focusing on the business end of this. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then I can always go and start PA school a year late. And it's been booming. It's been great. It's been busy. It's had its ups and downs, but the benefit is I get to work from home. I get to work on my own time, take care of the family, stuff like that, and still enjoy what I do without hating it.
So for the folks at PA, what does that stand for?
PA is a physician assistant.
Okay. So more into that, the science medical field.
Yeah, science medical field. I still absolutely love medicine. It's just, when COVID happened, it really got me thinking, how much do I want to interact and put myself at harm's way where I can, instead sit at home and work from home and, really spend time with the family.
Right. Okay.
That really made things, I think, the biggest drastic change.
Also, the priorities, right?
Yeah, priorities.
Absolutely. So instead of that, he became a doctor of the soul.
Yep.
SOLE. Yeah. Dr. Soul, SOLE, right?
Dude, I could have named that, took that name.
All right, awesome, sir. Anything else?
You can start off with your first question.
With my question? No, I was going to talk about, so you talked about how you go almost at 99% and then you say scrap it because one thing is off. We need to redo this, right?
Yep.
That I'm sure is a waste of resources, right? In that sense,
100%.
right? It costs money. How long does it take you to make the average shoe? Because I see there's high tops and low tops. So
I would say a good way of looking at it, using the Jordan 1 right here or like the Dior 1 as a base, that's a basic Jordan 1 high. That's kind of like the starting ground. So something like that from start to finish, taking the original shoe, taking the sole off, buying the leather, cutting the leather, stitching everything, backing it, takes about 50 hours for a high top.
50 man hours.
50 man. Low top would probably be around. Like I said, I'm a big keen thing has to be perfection. Reason is these are not shoes for your everyday wear. They're not shoes which you meant to beat up. Because of the amount of hours, they do cost a good amount. My starting rate for like a low top is about $1,500. High top is about $1,800.
Okay.
So my mindset to that is if someone is paying me that much money, it can't be factory quality.
Right.
Because Nike has been known, like not just Nike, but Adidas, all these, them mass producing their shoes, they have been known to make mistakes. They'll have missed stitches, they'll have glue stains, they'll have, the lines might not line up. I have to make sure and ensure that if I'm charging this amount, it has to be better than factory.
Absolutely.
If it's not better than factory, if it's not up to that standard, I can't give it to a client.
Okay. So a true one of one, which is pristine. Yep. Something you would put on your shelf.
100%.
And okay.
100%. Wear it to a special occasion, wedding, an award ceremony, music video, Netflix. Could be anything like that.
Oh man.
And some of my shoes have been in all those features.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because as going through your IG, I've seen you've interacted with some very notable key figures who a lot of at least the Western world as well as definitely the Eastern world.
Yeah.
The Desi community knows very well. They're very high-fi big celebrities.
Yep.
Veer Das being one of them.
Yeah, 100%.
And
Veer Das' story is one of the craziest and most wild stories how that worked out, but one of the most humble and down-to-earth, Indian celebrities that I've ever met.
And he's big.
And he is big.
Yeah.
He is big. And like I said, I'm very fortunate to, have had the chance to work with him.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, super down-to-earth guy.
Yeah, because
I didn't even ask him for that much, and he wound up, going above and beyond.
Wow.
Gave me full credit in the Netflix special, and both posted it and talked about it all over his social media and everything. None of that was expected. That was all from him genuinely, wanting to share the story of me as well. So,
that's beautiful. And what was the shoe that you offered or that you presented to him?
The way I met Veer Das was, growing up, my cousin and me were fans of his, and my cousin pitched an idea of me making a shoe for his comedy special and presenting it to him in New York when he was doing a smaller show. And I only had 1 day to come up with a design, 2 days actually. I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, what does every Indian like?
That's right.
Whether
one.
it's here or what's the one thing which every Indian, no matter where you are in the world, will eat?
I'm going to let him answer that. Come on, you know this.
The samosas?
No? What's that packet of...
Maggie?
Ding, ding, ding.
So I was like, okay, everyone loves Maggie. And it was also a way to tie in because Veer Das went to school in the States as well, in New York, I believe. And, living here, he ate a lot of Maggie too. So I took the wrapper of a Maggie packet and I made Nike checks and I put them onto an Air Force One. I had presented it to him. And he loved them so much that when year passed, he gave me a call and he's like, hey, listen, I'm doing a Netflix special. And, this is a story behind it. If you've been following on what's been happening with me in India and, I'm going to be carrying sand from the beach by my house in India with me on tour and wanted to see if you could put some of the sand and tie it in with a shoe special. And I was like, you know what? Say less. And I was like, okay, I knew exactly what I was going to do. So what I did is I took a clear vinyl and I wrapped the Nike check with it and I filled the Nike check with the sand. I took that and I stitched it back onto the shoe. So the sand in the shoe was the same sand he was stepping on. And that sand was from India. Man. And then it had the, certain quotes and stuff on the shoe, which tied in with the Netflix special. Wow. But that was the concept of the shoe. And then, I brought it to him. And like I said, after the special, if you watch the special, as she says, sneaker customizer, PSN who custom, I wrote everything. He blew it up on social media. Countless amount of people who asked me to remake that shoe, but it was a one of one, never to be made again.
Wow. And it remains a one-on-one. Wow.
I believe he may have afterwards, I think he might have raffled the shoe off and taken the money and donated it to a nonprofit organization in India for dogs. Okay. Stray dogs, I believe, but I'm not sure on that.
Well, all for a good cause, right? At the end of the day,
100%
all
for good, which again just shows like how humble of a person he was, to reach out to someone like me, someone who doesn't really know, give me a platform to show my, profession and then use that and also, raise money for a charitable event.
Absolutely, man. And I personally have been a Veer Das fan for a while, especially like the whole controversy that happened in the Kennedy Center over here. He sold that place out. Yeah. And that's where he did that speech that he read. Yep. And ever since then, I remember he would take that sand and throw it on the stage and step on it and say, I'm stepping on my motherland right now.
And saying this.
Exactly.
That's exactly it.
That's beautiful. And the creativity to come up with putting that in the swoosh. Yep. Oh man, that's like
that's what I try to do with all my shoes, everything which I do. I try to think a little bit outside the box.
A little bit. Man, that was outside the check, the box, all that. Anything else, sir?
Yep. Who are your favorite NBA players currently?
Currently, number one is Stephen Curry. Wardell Steph Curry. You know, I would say other than Steph, man, Anthony Edwards is really, really, really catching my eye. And I would probably say the one who I'm getting intrigued by is probably SGA. I haven't watched him enough, but the more I hear people compare him and talk to him, it just reminds me of one of my all-time favorites. I've heard a lot of comparisons about him.
I think
Maybe I have to start watching him.
SGA? Oh, he's nice. He's so crafty. I think he's much more, and you know, I might get some hate for saying this. I think he's more skilled and craftier than AI.
Really?
AI was just a flash of light, right? There to there, anywhere he wanted on the court. And he stuck to what he did.
Yeah.
SGA is just so crafty. Pivots and post moves, and like he can do it all.
I feel like have you heard that documentary where I forgot who said it? Kobe, I believe, said it. We're lucky. NBA is lucky.
Yes.
That Allen Iverson is not 6'6".
Correct.
I feel like if he was 6'6",
I think he'd be better than SGA.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like the comparisons are being made. I feel like with his 5'11", 6 foot body frame, wasn't able to be as crafty because
that's
he's getting bullied as much. You know, he's getting beat up as but I feel like that's why those comparisons are being made with him and SGA. That SGA is, I think, 6'5", 6'6". So.
Well, the one thing Allen Iverson is better than SGA. He's a high flyer. SGA is not a high flyer.
Oh, he's not?
Oh.
Okay.
He's not a high flyer. He's crafty.
Yeah.
But he's not yamming it on folks. Like AI was yamming it on like Marcus Camby and those guys.
Yeah, I remember that.
SGA is not doing that. That's Ant-Man. Ant does that.
Ant does that, yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like, again, I haven't seen, I think I've maybe watched one game of SGA.
It's OKC.
You know, exactly. Like I haven't seen much of him, but I do feel like his handles are up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
And he's not someone who, in this generation, like even with Ant-Man, I feel like neither one of them is playing how today's generation basketball is, where it's so 3-point dominant. You know, from what I know, SGA doesn't take a lot of 3-pointers. He's about the midi. He's about driving. He's about, being, like you said, crafty. He's not just going to come up and pull up. You know, if he's feeling it, that's a different story. And I think that's how AI was too. AI wasn't someone who fell in love. I think he was a 32% or 33% all-time 3-point shooter. You know, not
it was a
more
different
than that.
game though. Definitely a different game because the 3-point wasn't as encouraged. Like less attempts.
Yep.
But technically, you can go all your life with 5 attempts and be 4 for 5, 80% 3-point shooter, and the numbers will lie to you, right?
Yep.
So that makes sir.
Yep.
Got anything else?
Who are your favorite NBA players all time?
All time. So obviously, I just said Allen Iverson. Now it gets very tricky. So I wouldn't put like a list in which order, to be honest, because growing up, I loved Allen Iverson just as much as I love Michael Jordan. It was like hand in hand. Another person who I loved at the time was Ray Allen.
Okay.
And that brings me to why Steph Curry is my favorite player right now.
Which Ray Allen? Because Milwaukee Ray Allen, Seattle Ray Allen was different than Boston Ray Allen.
Bit of both. I liked Ray Allen mainly because of his 3-point shooting. So I guess you could say more Boston than Celtic, Miami. Even on the Bucks, he was a really good 3-point shooter. Not in Seattle as much. I think when he was on the Bucks, he was a very good 3-point shooter.
He was, but he was a lot more like attack the rim, cutting.
Yeah, 100%. Him and AI used to battle all the time. So that's why right now, I never followed college basketball. I thought there was too many teams. But one of the only players I did follow in college was Steph Curry. So I liked Steph when he was in college, when he was on the bench with the Warriors.
Okay.
When he became a starter. And I always looked at, like, if you take Ray Allen and Allen Iverson, you put them together, you get Steph Curry. That's how I always felt. He has the handles, not as good as, AI in my opinion, but you have the 3-point shooting, which is better than Ray Allen, Okay. So that's why he was, he's in my top 4 or 5. And then a lot of respect for T-Mac, who I feel is very slept on.
Oh my God.
And
Isn't it a travesty that he's not on top 75?
100%.
Him
He's
and
not?
Dwight? No, him and Dwight.
I didn't know he was in
Yeah.
top 75 either.
He's not. They're both
I feel
missing
like-
off of that
I
list.
feel like he gets so disrespected because people don't put him in the top 10 shooting guard list. But that happens all the time.
Been saying it.
I feel like that's not right either. But I mean, some people put him as small forward. Some
Listen.
people, I still think like,
T-Mac is one of the very few select guys who made Kobe touch earth.
yeah, Kobe says
All
it
right.
all the time. He's like the hardest person for him. Like
Correct.
T-Mac was Kobe with more height.
Yes. He
You
could do
know?
the same things, but he was bigger.
Yeah.
Just his body wasn't as durable.
Yep. And then I would say again, this is no order, but number 5 and not number 5, but the 5th person would be Kobe. Who,
Okay.
to be honest, I hated.
Yeah.
I used to, being an Iverson fan, you hated Kobe.
Of course.
You know, I
And he's from Philly.
exactly.
Yeah.
I hated him, but I grew to have so much respect for him. And, you know, very controversial, but, you know, I put him probably at number 4 all time.
Okay.
And the reason I put him number 4 all the time, you know, the comparison, who's the next Jordan? Everyone says next Jordan, closest thing to Jordan was Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, mirror image.
If the closest thing to the GOAT is Kobe, then he a GOAT? If he's literally a copy of the GOAT?
Yet they always talk about somebody else.
Right.
Right.
Which, you know, even on that note, my view on that is can't compare apples and oranges. You know, a shooting guard, you can compare Jordan Kobe. You can't compare Jordan Pippen. You can't compare Jordan LeBron. You can't compare Kobe LeBron.
And they're different eras, right? Different style of
Right.
basketball, different way they came up. So agreed, right? There's a little bit of overlap, but the Jordan LeBron conversation, that era is so far
Yeah.
apart. And now there's a whole movement of we're done with the 90s, right?
Yeah.
We're over with the
that's
90s.
That's so annoying.
I want to tell you something that really, really irks me and irritates me. Every time I hear this notion of plumbers. So then I ask the question, if they were plumbers, what does that make us? Trashmen? Garbage men?
Yeah.
We couldn't even sniff the league.
Right.
And yet you are critiquing those
Right.
guys who made the league, calling them plumbers. What are we?
Sure. What? So think about this. What does that make 80s players? What does that make Magic? What does that make
Right.
what about 70s players? You know, I mean, I would probably say my number 6 favorite shooting guard is, you know, another really slept on quiet name, Pistol Pete. Pistol Pete is one of the most advanced players for his generation. I mean, he still has the most points overall in college, a record which nobody can ever touch in college without the 3-point line. So think about that. Scoring wise, if you watch any of his actual the clips which they have of him, he was doing Jason Williams like passes, white chocolate passes before white chocolate was
Correct.
born.
Correct.
You know?
And you know what's crazy about that? And him and I always talk about this, and this is almost like a repeat conversation happening, like off camera. Kyrie, Rod Strickland,
Yeah.
Kenny Anderson,
Uh-huh.
Tim Hardaway. This is not junior, the first one. Who are some other ball handlers?
Damon Stoudemire.
David Stoudemire.
Baron Davis.
Yes, Baron
Who
Davis,
was the
right?
other guy who used to have like crazy hops?
But like these ball handlers, right? All these guys had a reference point.
Oh yeah.
They could go back and watch film of so-and-so and say, oh, I'm going to take this move and do the next version of it. I'm going to evolve the game.
Evolve it. Yep.
What's Pistol Pete watching?
Bob Cousy.
Nobody.
Jay West.
Nobody, right?
One hand dribbling, Oscar Robertson, you know?
He was
Like,
watching. And so for him to come up with what he came up with makes him the elite godfather
100%.
of the term handles.
Yep. I remember.
Period. With the
Remember
T.
high school, we used to watch the Pistol Pete Maravich
The
dribbling,
training, yeah.
the dribbling
I still watch
training.
them.
Yeah. They're phenomenal. They still work to this day.
Absolutely.
His flick of the wrist pass, like
Yes, all of that. All those like crazy like single finger dribbles, like Isaiah Thomas, another one, right?
Yeah.
All these guys. Pistol Pete needs the respect that he and that nickname, one of the coldest
best.
nicknames ever.
Yep.
Pistol Pete.
And the fact that you know that he's one of the only players who had his nickname on his jersey.
Yes. Yes.
His jersey
Well, he
said
did?
pistol.
Yep.
Yeah, it
Yep,
said
pistol.
pistol
Yeah, it said
in
pistol on
quotes.
it.
It was
You
one of
probably-
my favorite, and it was the Atlanta Hawks jersey, which had
the green
the
one?
green stripe
Oh.
going across. One of the hardest jerseys of all time.
Yes.
It has nothing to do
Yes.
with the Hawks, but it's just the color combination, the stripe. I guess is loving this because Atlanta Hawks fan.
He's a hardcore ATO, man.
You know,
Pop, pop, pop. Shots fired.
definitely one of the flyest. And I had the blue version, the alternate version of it. I have it at home. But yeah, it actually had pistol in quotes
Yeah.
on the back of it, and I love that nickname. You know,
Yeah, one of the best ever. Best ever. Man, that's actually you probably couldn't get away with that now,
no, yeah.
right? With that name, but definitely one of my like
John
handle
Morant would want
goats.
that nickname.
Probably, huh?
Just a John Morant would want that nickname today.
No comment.
No comment.
No comment. But let's get back to some of the shoes here, because I have a lot of questions, right?
Sure.
I have a question about, so let's say something like that. Right.
So this shoe is based off of the Pine Green SB Jordan 4s, which came out last year. It was a shoe of the year last year. It was a Jordan 4 silhouette. Same colors. I actually found the leather which was most similar to the exact shoe. Color matched everything and made a Jordan 1 version.
Okay.
Regular Jordan 1 high.
So I see that. So that's the finished product.
Yep.
Right. I see you have some I guess templates in front of you.
So this is pretty much making another version of the second copy of this one for me to actually wear. This is actually one of my favorite colorways. I've never been a fan of green as a color, but this came out so nice. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to make another one and actually wear them.
Okay.
You know, as a daily shoe, beat it up. So I started over. To show you what I kind of do is I bought the material, the leather. I cut the leather, glued the leather, backed it. You know, so the green was actually a thin material. I backed it with more cowhide. The white and the black is actual cowhide. I backed it with reinforcement. I cut it, I glue it, I stitch it, and that's the finished product. So once this is done, I'll put the heel counter in there, inside lining, flip it, finish stitching everything, and then that will.
Wow. So, and this is 50-ish hours or so?
50-ish hours.
Okay.
Start to finish.
Okay.
You know, give or take, you know.
Okay.
Depending on how fast. I think the fastest I've made a shoe, don't want to ever have to do this again, but...
The Virda shoe?
No, it's actually the Farmer's Protest shoe.
Farmer's Protest, okay.
So the Virda shoe is just a check swap. I didn't make that shoe from scratch. That was I just take the check off,
Got it.
make a new check, I put it back on,
Got
some paint work.
Got it.
All of these are fully reconstructed, fully, constructed from scratch.
From ground up.
But the Farmer's Protest shoe, we were in a deadline because we were trying to do a music video shoot and raise the money for that protest as quickly as possible. And I believe I made that in about 18 hours, nonstop, a lot of Red Bull, and banged it out.
My God.
Wow.
Very tiring. I will never, ever, ever do that again.
That's that's RBA. That's RBA. We're going to introduce RBA, but later.
Yep.
Hint. But wow, man, that's incredible. 18 hours straight.
Yeah, I wound up finishing that shoe and then, took a 30-minute shower, relaxed, and then went straight to the photo shoot. Recorded half the music video that morning. Later that night, went to Brooklyn, finished the music video, and then knocked out for the whole day.
For 18 hours probably, right?
No, not even, but felt like it.
Yeah, man, that's respect. So if you don't know what the Farmers Protest is, like very high overview, right? There's a protest going on in India, Punjab, especially a lot of farmers from there.
Pretty much, honestly, it's all over India now.
Yeah, it's all
It's
over.
all over India.
And
It started with Punjab and Haryana were the two states.
It's the biggest protest in the world.
Yeah, biggest non-violent, protest march on the capital of India, Delhi, just for their basic rights.
Yeah,
Their
fighting
rights
for their
for
rights.
how much they should charge and get paid for their food, their services, and how they should be treated, and the laws which now were agreed on, which still haven't been fulfilled.
No, they have not. Initially they were, but then there was some other controversies in there.
Of course.
But that's Googleable.
Yeah.
It's YouTubeable. So you created a shoe behind that movement.
Behind that movement, what the reason we created is a good friend of mine, a colleague who I went to school with, Dr. Swayman Singh, Rutgers University. He actually was out there during the protest giving free care to all the protesters
Okay.
who, at that time, again, weren't being treated properly, getting sick and all this stuff and had no care. It was also during peak COVID, which all this was going on. And, India didn't really have the same opinions on how to handle COVID as we in the States here did.
Right.
So he volunteered to go there and he was doing everything, taking care of everyone, doing surgeries. Actually, at that time, I remember patients from Delhi as well who couldn't get care in the capital would go to him and he'd send them to the proper hospitals out of the capital just to get the care which they needed because there was a shortage of everything there. So we made the shoe, raised money and sent the money to him, donated the money to him to take care of the farmers and protesters and anyone who was a part of that whole protest.
That's wonderful.
I believe we raised close to, I want to say $4,600.
Wow. Wow.
For that shoe. Yeah.
Much respect, man. Much respect. Seva. Inu seva gande. Right? Awesome. Sir?
All right. My next question is, which design received the best reaction?
Okay. So, don't have that shoe. I actually should have brought it. I forgot it. But I have its 2.0 version, which I haven't posted yet. So this is going to be a first time viewing it. It's actually
Blue one?
the blue one. Yes.
So it's right on that side.
Right down there.
Those are with the pythons.
Yeah, that's the Python version. So there was a one which I made with.
So that's an exclusive?
That's an exclusive. The one of one that's actually my personal
and first time
revealing that. So that shoe actually
I
made that shoe actually 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
I never was able to take proper pictures of it. Just I couldn't get the right pictures. I finally took them. They will be being posted probably, by the end of this month or May. One of my favorite shoes. The original shoe was actually suede. It was blue suede. And it was based off of another Jordan 4, the Jordan 4 Travis Scott's, which were the Oilers blue. So Travis Scott's from Houston and he's an Oilers fan. So their colorway is that babyish blue with the red.
That Warren Moon Houston Oilers.
Right.
Okay.
So I used the same silhouette and I made a Jordan 1 out of it. I took it to an event called Complex Con in Chicago.
Okay.
I met PJ Tucker there. I met a bunch of, huge celeb following there. And that post went viral. I think I have 40 or 50,000. So that's probably the one which got the most attention ever. Followed by that would probably be the Dior, which based off of the Dior Jordan 1, which was nearly impossible for anyone to get. I decided to make my own using red Dior.
So this is actual Dior.
That's actual Dior from a Dior bag. The Dior tote bag. It actually took me 2 bags. Bag cost me $900, $1,000. Got up 2 bags just for that one shoe. And I took the sole. It was a clear sole. I dyed the sole red. And I put the Dior logo in there. Well, so it looks exactly like the original Dior shoe.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that because I was my most favorite thing about this shoe, bro. This is my
logo on the wings logo.
Most favorite thing about this shoe is that clear sole. And the other one up there that's on the shelf in the middle actually says Dior, across the sole. Yep. This is beautiful.
Thank you.
That's
another one of my favorite shoes.
And I got to tell you, man, you got the Dior tag up here.
Yep. So if you flip this one over, you'll see the actual barcode from the Dior bag.
Oh. And you know what's crazy? Here, let me see if I can. So what's crazy is that one over there, that one, and I'm sure you can see on your IG, has your logo right here.
Yep.
And not Dior. And I want to ask you about this logo, man, because all your shoes have this really dope logo.
So that logo is actually a picture of me with my full turban on, and my mustache done, my goatee and everything gelled up. But yeah, even my PSN who name is actually a play on my actual name. So my name is Puneet Sandhu. So we thought, okay, retype the word Sandhu and break it up. So PS and who actually P Sandhu.
Look at that, man. This man's oozing with creativity.
Yep.
It's
sad trying to think outside the box.
You know what? Hopefully some of that will ooze our way. Right?
All of it will, man. I have so many ideas for you guys.
And we're here, man. We're gonna note them down off air. So I want to ask you, so what is this right here? Like this here. I see it has like a little bit of a template inside it.
Yep. So going back to even this shoe, once I have all the pattern stitched together, I take the back of the shoe and I combine it with the front of the shoe. The next step is getting the shape.
Okay.
So there's something called a last, L-A-S-T. That's the mold of a shoe.
Okay.
Each shoe, each size has its own last, So this one right here is an 8.5. 8.5 Jordan 1. For another size, let's say a 15 Jordan 1, I would have a size 15 last. For an Air Force 1, I would have an Air Force 1 last. And 3, 4 would have their own last. 11 would have its own last. Size would have its own.
So it sounds like, what I'm thinking when you say last is the inverse of a cast. Right? A cast is the outside.
Yeah, you could think of it like that.
Last is the inside version of it.
You could think of it like that.
And then, but what's crazy is you said each size and each type of shoe. So each one of these shoes that are different have their own version of that, plus each size of it, right? Yeah.
So all these, since they are Jordan 1s, and like I said, most of these are my personal samples. These were all made with probably either that last itself or I have another 8.5 at home.
Okay.
Some, obviously my size I got 2 of, so that's why I was like, I can work on multiple samples at the same time. But let's say I had a different silhouette here, that would have its own mold.
Okay. So question is, high top, low top, does it matter? No. Okay.
For specific shoes it does. Okay. But for the most part, no. Right now that's a low top, which has a last in there. That same last was used on high top.
Okay. So for example, like this is pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's very heavy.
So this is something without the sole in it. Basically, the sole's not attached.
So right now that shoe was all stitched. I had to take pliers, special blasting pliers, pull the upper onto the last and nail it down and then glue it onto something called lasting board. That's what you see in the
Oh, okay.
So now the next step of that would be filling the lasting board with wrapped leather, some foam or some cork to give it more of a even layer. And then if you see along the side of that, you'll see a line that I drew.
Yes.
So what I would do is up to that line, that's the glue line, sole line. So I would take a Dremel and rough that up so it holds the glue properly. I'd put glue on the sole and attach both of them. Put them up and then attach it. Called contact cement.
Okay.
Rubber cement.
So this is, I'm assuming, the Gucci.
Yep. Also from a Gucci bag.
Wow, this is one bag, I'm assuming? Or
this was one bag.
Yeah. One bag, okay.
It was actually half of one bag.
Half of one bag. Okay. So something like that. So basically for a pair, a bag would cover typically.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, again, it also just depends on the size of the bag and everything like that. The bag was very narrow. I think the width of it was maybe 11 inches wide. The length was probably 14 inches wide. No, 11 by 13.
Okay.
Was just one side panel. So for that, I had to use, I had to buy 2 bags, but it was like 2 and a little bit of the second bag, which had to be used. But with this, since I only did the back panel and I did the front panel, I got away with just using half the bag for the whole pair.
Okay. Wow. I don't know, man. I know all I know is
pricey.
I was going to say, because when people buy those bags, last thing they're thinking about is cutting them up.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's a good story too. The most expensive material we ever bought was a good friend of mine, and we had invested on some really expensive Louis Vuitton and Supreme had done a collab. Supreme's another fashion fashion brand, and they had done a collab on a baseball jersey, which was a red baseball jersey, which has Supreme written on there. And I believe that jersey had cost us $4,000. Such a nice jersey. I couldn't cut it up, man. It's just too gorgeous. So we are trying to move that, see if anyone's interested in buying it. If not, we might end up still cutting it up. It haven't decided yet, but it is absolutely gorgeous.
Well, if you do cut it up and it becomes something like this, that shoe probably will be well worth.
Oh yeah, that would probably be close to like $6,000-7,000.
At least for a shoe or a pair.
A pair.
Okay, I was gonna say $6,000 for the left shoe only.
Oh man!
Wow.
Yeah.
Like those are. That's Louis Vuitton right there.
That's a Louis Vuitton.
Right.
So that's a Louis Vuitton Travis Scott Low. Another shoe which I literally just finished 2 days ago. That shoe right there, it's based off of the original Jordan 1 Travis Scott Low colorway. Minus, obviously, the check is a different color. I used the same material as Louis Vuitton uses. It's called vegetarian leather. as a check. And yeah, it's really just based off of the colorway.
Okay.
Originally, I had done a high top version, which I regret selling just because of how it came out. So this time I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make myself.
Okay. Sir, any parting words for us?
No.
You learned a little bit today?
Yes,
Learn a lot?
I learned a lot.
A lot, right?
Yep.
The math today, I guess. Is that the right word? You know, listen, the math is not mathing, but the math today.
Yep.
So thank you, sir, once again. This was enjoyable.
My honor.
We look forward to a lot more
Definitely.
hot, lit drops from you and some more crazy, amazing designs. So
Definitely.
appreciate it. We're signing off. Once again, I want to remind y'all at the end of a letter, P.S., right? What your takeaway is, this man is I've given him a lot of names today, right? Dr. Soul, Dr. Who. He is Dr. Kicks, whatever you want to call him. He completes your fit. Just remember that. At the end of the day, if you want to finish your fit, whether it's a wedding, whether it's your party, whether it's a prom, whether it's a game you want to attend, impress somebody, the man to call. At the end of the day, he is the man to call. So with that, remember to subscribe to @Oh Kiddan on all our social media platforms. That's @Oh Kiddan on TikTok, IG, YouTube. You can find this young man there. Usually I'm his support, I'm his help. You can find me there. That's all I got, man. This was one of our longer episodes. So we'll see what we can do with it, how we're going to break it out. But there's a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of gems here. So if you're looking to get into this game, take advantage, right? The wealth has been shared, so you can't say that I didn't know. It's YouTubeable. It will be YouTubeable. All I'm going to say is peace. See you later. Alvida, Avjo, Khudafis, and Sat Sri Akal.
Peace. Oh Kiddan!